Today's stories include a rumored Nintendo Direct in July, a Donkey Kong movie is becoming more official, and another chapter in Krafton Subnautica 2 scandal. We'll have all this and more because this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kind of Funny Games Daily for Monday, July 14th, 2025. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing Adeoye Jr. Joining me is the master of hype, Snowbike Mike.
My main man, Bless. Good morning. Happy Monday, big dog.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling wonderful. You know, it's my favorite day of the week. I'm happy to be back. Getting to see you and Greg Miller's faces when I walk in always makes me smile.
I love how Greg was like, how was your weekend or whatever, and you just started saying buzzwords. You're like smiling, energy, relaxation.
You know,
I'm like, say what? How was your weekend, Mike?
Because I stunned him. He doesn't know what to say, so I walk right by him. I got his ass. You know what I mean?
What did you do this weekend?
What did I do this weekend? I played a lot of Lost Planet Extreme Condition. I went to
that's the answer I want.
In Pacifica and hung out with my main man, Tom Bach, which was really, really nice. I then proceeded to watch all of the rehearsal and a lot of Game Changers, a show that you put me on from Dropout. I have a lot of positive things to say about that. Rehearsal, a lot more negative things to say. I did not vibe with the rehearsal at the end of the day.
The season that just dropped.
Brand new episode, 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Him, a pilot, and like him trying to help the pilots.
And you finished it.
I finished it.
And you're not feeling it.
No, I've been lost a lot on that one. There was moments where I was feeling it, and then there was moments where like I didn't vibe with it at all.
It's very particular.
Yeah.
It's very much like when you go to a fancy restaurant and they give you a piece of food and everybody's like, oh, this is the fanciest thing ever.
Yes.
And then you eat it and it's like, what was that?
Yeah.
Like, what? First of all, the portion was real small. Second of all, the taste was kind of weird. Like, I liked hints of it. Like, there's things about this that I like, but you got to have like a particular taste, I think.
That's me with the rehearsal. So that was my weekend. Finished up Lost Planet Extreme Condition. An Xbox 360 gem, some would say. For me, it was one of those classics where I look back, I remember the box thinking, man, when I had an Xbox 360 at that time, I thought this was like the coolest game out there. I never played it. I just always wanted it. Played it in 2025.
That's crazy. That's wild that you played it in 2025.
Not happy with it.
I mean, of course.
Ended the day,
Lost Planet.
ended it all, not happy about it, okay? The first 90% of it, I'm like, okay, I can see what it is. It's a 2000 game, so it's kind of empty. It's kind of barren in some spots. You kill some bugs. You can run past 90% of them. You fight some big bugs. There's some really cool on-foot combat, and then all of a sudden you get in a cool mech. There's a bunch of different mechs, so that was really cool. Story, nonsensical, just absolutely insane. But at the end, it wrapped up. I get it, right? Like, I'm missing my dead dad. He gave me the power to succeed. I got in this new mech robot. And then out of nowhere, they're like, fuck that. Forget about the bugs. We're playing Armored Core 6. And it's the most intense mech fight I've ever had in my entire life. It took me 2 hours to beat this one jabroni. Every other level took me 15 minutes, Bless. This one took me 2.5 hours plus.
Dude.
And I raged.
I think Lost Planet, because I remember playing Lost Planet 2, and Lost Planet 2 was, I think, the first co-op third-person shooter I remember playing. Like, my friend Anthony had invited me over he was house sitting, and they happened to have the PS3 with Lost Planet 2 on it, and we played it all fucking day. But I don't think that's a game I could go back to. Like, I think there's a category of game that if you miss the boat on it the year that it came out, don't touch it. I played Lost Planet 2 at the right time. I don't think I could play a Lost Planet game in 2025 and have a good time.
Well, Bless, I'm happy to report that I'm going deep in my backlog. And I'm playing those kind of games. And sometimes you play one and you go, you know what? We got to find a better game on the next one.
Can I tell you, yesterday, I went on a YouTube search for this game, Area 51. Do you remember Area 51?
I remember the arcade cabinet being one of the most iconic and memorable moments ever, the arcade cabinet.
I had a demo disc. I don't remember the arcade cabinet, but it was probably, maybe it was the more popular form. I don't know. But I remember having a PlayStation 2 demo disc with Area 51 on it and playing it over and over and over again and being obsessed with it, right? Like, it was probably the first, like, I guess aside from GoldenEye, I guess I'll say this era of first-person shooter that I remember, like, having direct access to in a way, and it felt realistic and gritty and adult. I was a kid, so I'm playing this and I'm like, it's blowing my mind. It's the most graphically intense, like, oh my God, I can't believe this is a video game that I'm playing kind of thing. And I think I put it in that same Lost Planet bucket where I look back at this gameplay. Honestly, So far, this doesn't look as terrible as I would have thought it would look looking back, even though this is like 1080p, I'm sure emulated type shit. But like, I'm sure this is a game that if I picked it up today, I'd be like, ugh, what is this?
What if I go back to Red Faction?
Do it. I think you would enjoy Red Faction.
Faction 1 holds up still?
Define holds up. I think you would have
at the end of it, I'm not going to look at those 6 to 8 hours and go, man, that sucked.
I stand by Red Faction.
Okay.
I stand by Red Faction 1.
You know I ride with that game, Bless.
Mike, enough about that. Remember, this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday, we run you through the nerdy news you need to know about live on YouTube, Twitch, and on podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, support us with the Kind of Funny membership on Patreon, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Get all of our shows ad-free, watch us record them live, and get a daily exclusive show. For a chance to be a part of the show, some of your thoughts and opinions as YouTube Super Chats as we go. Housekeeping for you. We're an 11-person business, all about live talk shows. So today, you've already gotten a Kind of Funny screencast. Really? Where Greg talks to the folks behind Tiny Chef and the plea to save the show after Nickelodeon canceled it. You can go check that out right now on, I imagine, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames.
Go check it out.
Screencast podcast feed, I think.
In review podcast feed, we put those together
You're right.
all in one.
We did merge those. And then after KFGD, you're going to get Gamescast, which is a Fantasy Critic 2025 check-in. And then after Gamescast is the Kind of Funny podcast. Greg went to the Monster Jam World Finals. Then the stream is Dune Awakening. If you're a Kind of Funny member, today's Gregway is all about Greg's return to comics. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Carl Jacobs, Omega Buster, and Delaney the Psalm Twining. Today we're brought to you by Shady Rays, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is, and forever will be, the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 7 stories today.
A baker's dozen!
Starting with our number 1, a Nintendo Direct is set to take place later this month. It is claimed. This is from Ollie Reynolds at Nintendo Life. YouTuber Nate the Hate has claimed that Nintendo Direct is due to take place later this month. And honestly, I can just stop reading there because that tells us all we need to know.
Here it comes.
Nate the Hate said it is going to happen. Yo, super chat in. This is what I want to know because I wanted to do the research for this as I put this on KFGD. Sadly, I ran short on time because it's a big news day. But what are the remaining questions we need answered for Nintendo for the rest of the year? I'm talking Kirby Air Riders release date. I'm talking, do we have a Metroid Prime 4 release date?
No.
No, you do not.
What are the Nintendo questions that are burning that we need answered that we would get at this Direct? Let me know. Speaking on his latest podcast episode, Nate states that a Direct will take place after Donkey Kong Bonanza releases on July 17th, 2025. He goes on to stress that he does not know any further details, including specific dates, timings, and potential content. He does, however, speculate that a Direct could happen in the last week of July, theorizing that Nintendo will want to put a new showcase out before its 3-month earnings release on Friday, August 1st, 2025. Here's what he said, quote, "What I've been told, there is a Direct this month, so the month of July, but that Direct will not take place until after Donkey Kong Bonanza releases. Beyond, I have no additional information. I do not have information as to the exact timing at this point. If I had to speculate, I would say probably the last week of July because Friday of that week is August 1st, right? Which is Nintendo's earnings report that day. So I could see them having a Direct that week leading to that investors report." End quote. Mike, Nate the Hate, you believe the words that are coming out of his mouth?
You know what? I got to believe on this one, Nate the Hate batting above average right now.
Yeah.
On a lot of these rumors and speculation. So I'm going to ride with it. And I'm also going to get excited about it, Bless, right? We're going to have Donkey Kong later this week. And it feels right to continue the big Nintendo Switch 2 press junket. Keep people in the know, keep people excited, keep pushing those sales as much as possible. And so, yeah, for you who says, hey, Mike, like, what are the questions that need to be answered? For me, I'm looking at it as, yeah, continue to excite me to spend my money on your console, your platform, your ecosystem. Mm-hmm. Or if I wasn't already in, sell me some more on why I need to be in this summer season into the holiday season.
What would excite you?
What would excite me? Third-party announcements, particularly. I mean, I'm already in, right? So Donkey Kong was that big excitement factor. Mm-hmm. I would love to learn more about Kirby. I think anytime you put Kirby on after the Forgotten Lands, for me in particular, I'm jumping in and I'm excited for that. But for this one in particular, I already know Air Riders. I already know about Metroid. I know those will probably get their own stuff later on. I'm looking for now, hey, third-party releases that will hold me over some cool indie titles into the, the holiday window.
Elden Ring date, because we know it's coming.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think that makes sense, right? Like, I think when you're talking about third parties, Elden Ring, there are a couple of, I think, the biggest questions, right? Elden Ring is one of them. Hollow Knight Silksong is another one.
They announced it with Nintendo.
And yeah, why not? They showed up at the Nintendo 2 or Nintendo Switch 2.
It's exciting. It's exciting.
Big release thing. Now, here's the thing. Is I don't want to keep getting into the pattern of every single event being like, Silksong's got to be there. Silksong's got to be there.
Yeah.
But at some point, and I know we say this every single fucking time, Silksong's got to be there. Right? Right?
It doesn't have to be.
Right?
Doesn't have to be.
Where else would it be?
2026. You got to wait for it.
2026?
It's got to get to the museum
they did
first.
say that it is coming out before the Xbox Raj Ally X
Nailed it.
thing.
Close enough.
Plus.
Honestly. Yeah. The Raj Xbox Ally.
X.
Maybe.
Yeah. I think there's another X at the end there. I mean, they could show it at Gamescom.
Show Hollow Knight at Gamescom?
I don't fucking know, man.
Like Jeff Keighley's Gamescom?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
I know.
Absolutely.
As someone
not.
who's also the biggest doubter of Gamescom shows, yeah, I don't see it.
The audience has brought up Hades 2. Do we see any Hades 2? You bring up, I think probably a lot of third-party and indie titles will probably be shown here. There'll be the big first-party stuff, but you'll probably get a lot of third-party here.
Yeah.
I do also think it depends in terms of third-party hopes. I think it depends on, when were certain teams given dev kits and all that stuff, because we know that there's that weird rollout of, only some places are getting dev kits, only now there's some places that are finally getting them. So that's another weird one of all right, how quickly do we start to see indies really start to make games specifically for Switch 2? Although for games like Hollow Knight and maybe even Hades 2, maybe they don't even do a Switch 2 specific version at launch or whatever.
Yeah. I think this is such a weird year. Obviously a very non-standard Nintendo year because we had the console launch. And I think in a typical traditional year, you would have had a summer showcase happen in June, which would have set the tone for, all right, this is what your fall slate looks like. Which I put out there because I think there's the idea of, hey, a Nintendo Direct could be anything. It could be a third-party Direct. It could be indie Direct, right? It could be a partner showcase. I think there are too many question marks on the calendar for this to not have those. I don't think you wait until September to talk about Kirby Air Riders and the Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment that's still supposed to come out this winter, right? I think we got the release date for Dragon Drive, right? And so we don't have to worry about that. But I think there's that small handful of Nintendo things that we're still Metroid Prime 4 that we're still waiting for info on. And so I would expect a first party Direct, and then maybe some smaller first party things that might be coming next year. I'm not even thinking of anything big for the time being. Maybe you get a small trailer for Duskbloods.
Don't get me excited about that.
That'd be cool though, right?
Because you know I'm excited for that.
That'd be cool.
I can't wait for that one, bless. Yeah, it'll be exciting stuff. I mean, we have this into Gamescom. Of course, Tokyo Game Show after that. So we got a nice little rollout for the remainder of the summer season. And then we look forward to the holidays. But you're so right. When do you start that kind of big first party blowout and start showing off all the cool games that you would have seen in the normal summer months? When does that happen? You got time. All these companies have shown they can turn on the YouTube channel and put out a video any day, any month that they want.
Exactly. Moving on to story number 2. Speaking of Nintendo and Universal are planning a Donkey Kong movie. This is Jordan Midler at Video Games Chronicle. Nintendo and Universal have filed copyright information for an untitled Donkey Kong movie. The filing, which was made in May of this year, declares both Nintendo Studios and Universal Pictures as the co-producers of the film project. Speculation that a Donkey Kong film could be in the works has circulated for some time, and this news comes as the character has received more prominence in the last few years. Does this excite you? A Donkey Kong movie?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you guys are the Donktober boys here, and you should be as excited, if not more excited than me, right? The idea of seeing Donkey Kong getting his own movie after what we just saw with the Mario Bros. Movie, yeah, I'm totally in. I want more Nintendo characters getting their cool animated films or even live action films. We'll see if that's any good. But, of course, the animated stuff, I think, is an easy layup for Nintendo to start making. The question will become, will there ever be a moment where they just become like direct-to-DVD type vibes where you're like, you could skip Donkey Kong number 5. But like these first initial ones, heck yeah, you're in the theater. This is exciting stuff.
I really like that question because you're thinking of like maybe a decade ahead of where we could be. And like, what's the right way to foster this? Because yeah, you're right. Like, hey, you could just keep making Mario Brothers 1, Mario Brothers 2, Mario Brothers 3, and like keep going until we get tired of it. How do you maintain that flow in a way that's going to keep people interested and excited? I think the Legend of Zelda movie being live action is such an interesting one, and also being produced by Sony is such an interesting one because now you're making it a thing of like, this isn't an MCU. This isn't like hey, we're keeping these all the same style in case we wanted to do like a cool Smash Brothers thing. It's like, no, they're not doing that. And so I think Nintendo, they're going to have to look at like their roster of franchises and go, all right, which of these deserves a movie, right? Do we get to a place where we're talking about a Metroid movie or
a Star Fox movie? We're
not going to.
Then you know that's a Netflix movie. But like it would be so lit.
See, but
and
I
want it to be more than that. But like that's a Netflix movie to me.
I think those would be so fucking dope.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about me and you, right? But I think we get an Animal Crossing movie before we get some kind of like Star Fox or Metroid thing. I think we get a Pikmin movie. I look at it the same way that Nintendo looks at the Nintendo store and going, what are the IP that we own that people want to interact with outside of the video games, right? That we can sell the merch of. And there's something that like an Animal Crossing and Pikmin has that for some reason Star Fox and Metroid just don't.
Animal Crossing is a 6-part miniseries or a 6-episode season. Like I don't know about an Animal Crossing movie, maybe, but like, yeah, the whole lineup, bless, you could see, right? Kirby's in there, Star Fox, as we said. Like,
Kirby, I think we can get.
Luigi's definitely getting Luigi's Mansion.
Luigi's Mansion definitely
we're
happening.
making that, right? And so, yeah, let's start with Donkey Kong first. I want to know, what is your excitement for Donkey Kong?
Oh, I'm super excited for it. I think, first of all, Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong is something that I'll never get tired of. It's such a fucking hilarious casting that I'm all in for. I think the Donkey Kong is such a weird franchise because for most of Donkey Kong's like existence, most of the main titles have been handled outside of Nintendo. It's been Rare and it's been Retro. And so much of what has defined Donkey Kong has not come from Nintendo. That's why I find it so fascinating that for Donkey Kong Bonanza, this is a Nintendo, like this is the Mario Odyssey team, which means that Nintendo has their hands directly, like making a mainline Donkey Kong thing, which means that they redefine it, right? Which means that they go in and they redesign what Donkey Kong looks like, right? They redesign what the world, they rethink what it means to be in the Donkey Kong world and all of that. And so what that makes me wonder about is how much of what we get in a Donkey Kong movie is new shit versus classic shit, right? Do we get Candy Kong? Do we get Lanky and Chunky and Funky and like all these different Kongs? Or is Nintendo trying to pave a new road for what DK is on the big screen as well?
And it's just Donkey and Diddy Kong, or who knows what that is. Yeah, I like that, Bless. I mean,
and like a lot of this, I think the tone will be set by what's in Donkey Kong Bonanza. I think Donkey Kong Bonanza will be responsible for laying the land as far as what is the world we're playing in now.
I mean, I'm excited, Bless. You saw the Mario Bros. Movie make $1 gajillion. You have to assume that if they were to make a Donkey Kong movie of that caliber, it's going to make just as much, if not maybe a little bit less if it stumbles, but like it's going to print money. I think Nintendo has that like family market, those console mascot characters that we all know and love. And it's just a box office win if you were to jump into this. And I do expect in the next 10 years, we'll see a lot more of those.
Yeah.
Like Nintendo could have its own streaming service and put out TV shows and movies of all this and make the collection just like they did with the music if they really wanted to.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's years out. But I do think Super Mario Bros. 2, you'll get one of those. Donkey Kong, yeah, that's a layup.
What would you predict would be next after Zelda, Donkey Kong, and Mario Brothers 2? New franchise. Like Nintendo's like, all right, we're calling one of you up to the big leagues to Raw and SmackDown.
That's not one of those three.
Which NXT Nintendo franchise do you call up to get a movie next?
Luigi's Mansion.
Oh, You know what? Yeah.
I think Super Mario Bros. 2 will lean more into Luigi and Mario having that brotherhood right there, right? It will be more of that, so you'll get to know.
Give me something non-Luigi.
The second character,
because that's an easy answer. I think it's either Animal Crossing, even though that's a tough movie to make because you got to fucking make a story.
That's
I don't think they make a movie out of Animal Crossing. What I could see is, they did like Pokemon Resort on Netflix, and that was like, mini episodes and that like weird claymation style or whatever. I could see them doing something like that for Animal Crossing.
That'd be cool.
I mean, Star Fox is my movie answer. Star Fox would be the most fun with the movie.
I think for what Nintendo does, I think they'll go Splatoon. Splatoon
as a movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Splatoon is active.
A lot of Splatoon lore.
What about Metroid? That could be a live action.
I mean, it could be, but I think for where Metroid stands and like what me and Tim talk about as far as like what's the top 5 for Nintendo, what's the top 10 as far as like IP power and money making potential. Metroid just doesn't hit for people like on that money making side. Obviously, people love Metroid. Like the hardcore gamers. They fuck with Metroid. I fuck with Metroid. I don't know if you play Metroid.
I'm going to play Metroid when it comes out. That's going to be my time.
And I think you're going to fuck with Metroid, right? Like, we love Metroid, but Metroid, I think as far as, like, what the natural choice is for an IP that you think is going to, make money on the big screen, I don't know.
Well, Metroid will have a big comeuppance at the end of this year, right? This will be a lot of first-timers jumping in. A lot of classic fans will be excited about this. Now you get into the territory of, like, that's not making $1 billion like Super Mario Bros., right? Like, now you start to get into, like, could that make it? I don't know. That's my problem. It's like, there's guarantees, and then, like you said, there's a second tier here that's like, I don't know if that's a guarantee or not, because all of a sudden we could maybe be making a bad live-action movie that we've seen a million of them in the 2000s, and Metroid easily could have been one of those.
I think to make a good Metroid movie, you would have to... Here, I want to bring in a super chat.
You make it an anime.
Exactly. Ty Wilkins VO in chat says, Metroid isn't a movie. It should be an anime series. Yeah. And that's my thing is, I think Metroid would have to be a smaller anime thing, because if you're going to put Metroid on the big screen, I think to make it pop, it would be like you'd almost have to give it to Alex Garland and go, make a rated M or rated T Metroid thing that can be as gruesome as it needs to be and like all that shit and like realistic and all that stuff. But Nintendo's never going to do that because they're Nintendo.
Metroid and Star Fox would be dope animes, like what we're seeing with Castlevania right now and Devil May Cry. Those would be a lot of fun to watch as like a 6 to 8 part Netflix show.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing, similar to that. None of them coming off the top of my mind are $1 billion like Mario Bros.
Yeah.
Bear, what do you got?
I was thinking the newer Voltron and then like Legend of Korra animation team, I think would be really fun for Metroid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even for Zelda, but we're getting to live action.
Literally anything animated would be better than what we're actually getting.
Kebabs writes in with a super chat and says, where's the Animal Crossing New Horizons 4K HDR patch talking about in the Nintendo Direct still, right? Like, I think, that could be a place where maybe we talk about more of the Switch games that we're doing like updates to Switch 2 for. You know what I mean? I imagine we have a date for Kirby's update, right? Kirby in the Forgotten Land plus
I think
Star
that's next
Saga, whatever it's called.
I'll look it up.
But yeah. I don't know. I'm very excited for whatever Nintendo could be cooking on the movie side. Because I do, even though at this point I don't think it's happening, my dream would be a Smash Bros. Style crossover thing. But like their direction already is not that.
It's Mortal Kombat, but it's Smash Bros. Every world gets an invitation. Their fighter has to step up.
Oh man. Yeah, like here's the thing. Pokemon's doing their own thing, right? Because that's the Pokemon company. Sonic is live action.
Yeah.
Zelda's live action, right? Like they don't have the like, foundation for it set, but man, I could dream.
Kirby is August 28th, 2025.
Oh, hell yeah.
Next month.
Oh, that's super soon. Bear, what's up?
I was literally just going to say the same thing.
Hell yeah. Let's move off of the Nintendo conversation and onto a conversation we've been having for quite a few days here on Kind of Funny Games Daily with story number 3. In the latest Subnautica 2 twist, Krafton confirms this leaked internal review document is real. This is Vicky Blake at Eurogamer. Now, Mike, before I get into the article itself, can you do a Lolly Lule lore on where we're at currently with the Subnautica 2 scenario. Unknown Worlds versus Krafton.
Let me unpack it out of my my mental box here. Now, please give me some room to be a little wrong there. I'm sure the chat will correct me. But, Blessing, let me take you back. We'll call it 2 weeks ago. Krafton threw out 3 of the key leadership groups from Unknown Worlds. Some of the founders of Subnautica and that company said, you're out. We're putting in a new person here. Then we said, what's up with that? A week later, we got the big Reddit post saying, yo, they pushed us out because we were all guaranteed a lot of money and we wanted the game to release this year because if it released this year and it hit certain sales numbers, we had an opportunity to get $250 million in the pot right there that we were going to share with a lot of the employees throughout Unknown Worlds. And so we were like, oh, snap. That's crazy. Krafton pushed you all out because they didn't want to pay. And then Krafton was like, well, we're delaying the game because it's not up to par. It's not about the money. And so now we had a he said, she said of why did these 3 founders of this company get pushed out? Is it because Krafton didn't want to pay this bonus before the end of 2025? Or is it actually because the game isn't up to snuff? Now, the founders said it is ready to rock and roll. We're sitting on our hands. Let's do this thing. And the opposite side said, well, we brought in a new guy, and he says it's not ready to rock and roll for prime time. We want to make sure this is prime time. Then, get this, Bless, after that, we then heard that one of the founders was like, yo, we're going to take them to court for this, and we're going to get our money. We're going to make this right. And we said, okay, get after them. But then on the flip side, Krafton then said, hey, they were pursuing other things outside of Unknown Worlds and focusing on the game, which is why we said, hey, it's not releasing this year because you don't seem to be on the ball like we need you to be right now. And so that's where I finished on Friday with a back and forth between both teams.
Exactly, and that's where we finished on KFGD. So we're going to hop into this story, again, coming from Vicky Blake at Eurogamer. Also, fantastic work there.
Thank you,
that was
homie.
great.
I tried my best on that. That was intense. I got it.
Subnautica developer Unknown Worlds parent company Krafton has issued another statement, this time confirming that an internal milestone document leaked online is authentic. Just ahead of the weekend, pages from an internal review document popped up online. According to the leaker, it, quote, clearly shows the state of the development progress and why Krafton and the Subnautica team disagreed on the release schedules, end quote. The document purports to show where the development of Subnautica 2 was deemed to be versus expectation at this point in the development cycle. It criticizes the as-is position, saying, quote, while the game includes a variety of content, it currently lacks the freshness and volume expected of a sequel, and, quote, falls short of meeting the high expectations of the OWSC and the Asian market, end quote. It also clearly states it expects a, quote, content volume increase of over 30% compared to version 1.0, end quote. At the bottom of the second slide, the author, which remains unknown, states, quote, compared to the originally planned early access launch specifications, the current target volume has been reduced or adjusted across various elements such as biomes, creatures, equipment/progression, and features. Due to a gap between the current state and the content volume assumed during the initial launch planning, it is necessary to reassess the release timeline and roadmap, end quote. Rather than refute the leak, however, Krafton has confirmed the document is real, saying it was approving the credibility of the report because that would, quote, minimize speculation and ensure accurate communication with the players, end quote. So another chapter.
Another one.
In the saga.
Another little footnote here on this story, Bless. Yeah. I mean, who are they trying to win over, right? Because we're going to court. That's where we should be showing all these documents. Are they trying to win me, the gamer, over?
I think so.
So then I have trust in them or don't want to boycott the game and want to pay for the game? Like, what is the point of releasing this to the general public? I'm not the judge, jury, and executioner here, but I get, like, maybe they want to sway because, of course, Reddit all weekend long was a mixed bag of emotions, right? If you were on the Subnautica Reddit, it was, hey, I love these guys. This is messed up. I'm not paying for the game. Or, hold up, should I be buying the game? I don't know where I stand anymore, right? And so Is this for that? I don't know. But clearly, when we dive into the leaked documents, who leaked them? Who knows?
Who knows?
That's crazy.
You think
A greedy corporation would leak those documents?
I was
to
saying,
get
do you think
people on their
Krafton leaked
side?
it themselves and went, this is real?
That's crazy.
Who knows?
That's crazy.
Who knows?
But they are saying that it wasn't up to snuff where they wanted it to be. And there is a push and pull to this reality, no matter where you fall. Early access titles are a different beast, right? Of how much do you release with? You and I talked about it last Thursday when we brought up Subnautica 1, right? And how beloved that was, how it grew with the community, but that takes time, right? And so when you come up with a sequel and it is a highly anticipated sequel that has a lot of money on the line, right? Krafton put down a lot of money to purchase the Outer World or the Subnautica team.
Yeah. Unknown World.
I
forget it every single time, too.
There's a lot of money on the line here for this to hit and probably hit early, right? Because as much as we would love to say, oh, this is a 10-year endeavor, I'm sure Krafton's looking at like, I would like my return in the 1 to 2 years here, not the 5 to 10 years. Let's fire this baby up, right?
Yeah.
And so they're saying that it's not up to snuff. You need more. They even here they have the nice guy line of like, we reduced it as well. Like we didn't expect them as much as we wanted it, so we reduced it here so they could meet this deadline. But I don't know, Bless. I mean, I go both ways on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the whole point of this, right? Is like there is what I was saying on Friday. It's a he said, she said scenario now, right? It is them trying to, I think, win the court of public opinion because they're right. They're getting sued. They're going to go to court, to actual court over this, and like whoever is successful, right, in that is going to get the money and is going to like, that's going to determine how things go for the parties involved.
Yes.
But I think right now, at the same time, I think there is enough wiggle room here for Krafton to, if they have the stuff to fight in that the court of public opinion, so that they can maybe not get boycotted as much, so that they can keep the like any sort of goodwill as somebody who's publishing a game that could be one of the biggest games of the year that it comes out. That's what they're gonna do. And so I don't know. There's more to be determined here from this story. I'm just an outside observer at this point of seeing what the fuck happens. I just want the developers to have right done by them. You know what I mean? Like I don't really care about the publisher or even like the leads at this point, right? Whether they did right, whether they did wrong. Honestly, I don't know. I just hope that the 98% of people under them are done justice by this.
Yes. Hopefully they get paid out their bonuses if they do meet those sales expectations. I thought last week, I missed in the Lolly Lule lore, I thought Krafton did say they were going to pay some of that out.
Well,
so like
they said it in kind of a vague-ish way of like, we're going to give people what they're promised.
But I mean, when you read this, right, and you get to the quote part, it's like, quote, while the game includes a variety of content, it currently lacks a freshness and volume expected of a sequel, right? And so it's like, well, what is that, right? That could be judged by any which way. But for me, right, I do want the sequel to feel pretty fresh. I know what I want from Subnautica and Subnautica 2. I still want the wow moments. I still want that. I don't want to really feel like I've been dumped back into the same fishbowl, but now it's just me and a buddy, right? Like, Subnautica 2's got to have a different feel to it. It's got to have a wow factor, especially on that initial launch, to get millions upon millions of players in. Does it have that? I mean, anybody could tell you yes or no on that one. It's really personal preference.
Yeah, and they have like they have the explicitly stated, hey, like we're looking for a content volume increase of over 30% compared to 1.0, right? So like those are this is going to take a while for this story to really like get to a conclusion here because the lawsuit is going to take a while and all that stuff, right? But that's something that you can argue in court. Like that's something that I think I would imagine is somewhat provable info. Of course, 30% of a video game. How do you count that? So that's gonna be one of those ones where like I'm fascinated by how a jury, how the judge, how like the people making these arguments are going to be like, yo, no, this is where we landed. Of course, also they said what you mentioned, right, as far as like reducing expectations or the current target content volume has been reduced, yada yada yada, right? But you imagine that there is still a percentage in there of, all right, we want this 15% more than what you had with 1.0 Subnautica 1.
The wild part that I think about, Bless, is not the three found. Well, I mean, the whole story's wild. But there are people inside of this studio right now that are like possibly listening to you and I or seeing all the Reddit posts, following the news stories, and they can't say anything.
I know, and I know it's so frustrating.
They're doing this. They're freaking out because they would love to say what the hell is going on. But I'm sure they would most importantly like to say, hey, we've been really working hard on this game that we love. And we just want to get to the finish line and show you this incredible title that we got. And I think on the outside, it's like, that's where I want to be. But now I don't know when that will be.
Yeah.
Clearly, it seems like it's not 2025. So I will have to hold my breath for that.
Could you imagine it came out in 2025? If somebody fucking leaked it, somebody like they have an internal agent that's like, no, that shit's ready, and they fucking hit publish. Mike, we got a lot more to talk about on this episode of KFGD, but before we get there, let me talk to you about patreon.com/kindafunny and youtube.com/kindafunnygames, where you can get the Kinda Funny membership, which allows you to get shows ad-free. And speaking of ads, let us tell you about our sponsors.
This episode's brought to you by Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. They have hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find the perfect pair to match your style. If you don't love your shades, exchange them for a new pair or simply return worry-free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team are always there to have your back with personal and fast support. Y'all know I've been outside a lot playing Pokemon Go, and it's such a great experience wearing Shady Rays when I'm out and about looking dope. Exclusively for you, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal. Head to shadyrays.com and use code FUNNY for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Again, go to shadyrays.com, use code FUNNY to get 35% off polarized sunglasses.
And we're back. Let's hop into some super chats real quick. Gaming Worlds UK just writes in and says, birthday text, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, my friend.
Count on me. Thank you so much. One day I'm gonna bring the party poppers and like make it a thing. Yeah. We're gonna some lucky birthday haver out there.
You're gonna get it.
Is gonna get celebrated for real because y'all been asking for it. I might bust out a cake. Count on me 23 writes in and says, just secure the Sonic Magic cards. Yeah, I've been seeing people in chat
people
hollering,
just said it's live.
Yeah, saying that the Sonic cards are live. Here's the thing. I got a person. I got a friend. She's gonna do the work for me.
He's got a person, chat.
I have a friend.
It's just a Venmo away for Bless.
Yes. Yeah, I have a friend that's like, I trust her with my life, especially when it comes to Magic cards.
And these are must-have for you, right?
I mean, there are. I'd like to have them.
These are hot.
I don't think they're like must have, but I'm like,
okay.
The shadow card. I think I might want to make a deck around it. That's what I'm hoping for right now. But yeah, Lexi, she's gonna hold me down because she's like the friend who. Yeah. I feel like everybody plays Magic for a different reason. You know what I mean? Maybe you play for the competitive aspect. Yeah. Maybe you play so you can collect cool looking cards. Lexi is in the market. Like she is flipping. Like
she's wheeling and dealing.
She's wheeling and dealing. In a way where I'm like, I've never seen the side of you before.
Let me tell you what, you can wheel and deal. If you got game like that, you can wheel and deal.
And let me she does.
Those collector boxes for Final Fantasy, that was crazy to see those price tags.
Yeah, dude.
Crazy.
I should have hit her up for those, honestly.
Should have been wheeling and dealing.
Clawmaster writes in and says, congrats to SGDQ for raising over $2.4 million for charity. Congrats.
Awesome week. Did you see any good runs?
Sadly, I missed the whole thing.
Okay.
Usually I tune in because I remember maybe a year or so ago watching just like all the GTA speed runs that they would do and watching somebody just speed through Vice City. Coolest thing ever.
Did you see or did you hear about what the Blueprints speedrun thing was?
No.
It was essentially bingo, where they like had like bingo cards of things that like they could possibly do in a run, and then whoever got like bingo first, like and it was a race between two people, I think, and
that's cool.
Whoever filled bingo first of just like random things that you could possibly do due to the RNG of it, won, and it's like, God, that's so fun.
I love that. You watch them?
Oh, of course, yeah. My favorite 2 weeks out of the year, SGDQ and AGDQ. They're the best. I mean, it's just.
Do you have like a favorite game you love to watch?
I love the GTAs. I love Bloodborne and anything, or Dark Souls.
Yeah.
I love that kind of stuff. I love the weird, wacky stuff when we get into Pepsi Man, or all of a sudden we're playing some random game you've never heard of. They played Backyard Baseball this week, which was fun. But
that's cool.
7 days, 24 hours of content, always live, always somebody on the couch in the panel doing something fun. I think it's great, and all for a great cause. It's fantastic.
Congratulations, SGDQ. A brown spot writes in and says, this is a re-dropped ball shit list from Friday's show. Atreus from God of War 2018 to Ragnarok should be on, should be on that list. It's a bad joke. It's a bad joke. We made a joke, or we had a conversation on Friday about like the biggest dropped balls in gaming. Mainly about like things that you fumbled, biggest fumbles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And they're saying Atreus was fumbled as a character?
No, they're saying that he went through puberty.
Oh, I got that.
You guys got to keep up.
That's crazy.
You guys got to keep up.
Oh, fuck.
Let's see here. We got one more from JBC who writes in and says, if we're going by Nintendo SF merch breakdown, it's clear that Animal Crossing / Splatoon / Metroid is next on the dock for movies / shows.
Yeah, it's just got to kind of be the right project.
Yeah.
All of these 100% could be shows, and maybe shows or movies. Maybe we'll see that. There's a lot of deals being made. There's a lot of content providers out there that want these kind of IPs that would come over to their little live streaming service and make something out of it. We've seen a lot of good and bad, so I'm sure dollars will be thrown.
Dollars will be thrown. Let's move on to story number 4. ZeniMax Union responds to Microsoft canceling unannounced MMO. Quote, a feature has been stolen from us. This is from Rebecca Valentine at IGN. Following a wave of mass layoffs that impacted an estimated 9,100 employees at Microsoft, many of whom were in its Xbox gaming division, the Union of Employees at Xbox subsidiary ZeniMax have responded with a statement explaining the current employment status of its members. Here is Zosu's statement published in full. Earlier this month, Microsoft indefinitely shelved an unannounced MMORPG at ZeniMax Online Studios, a shock to the 222 Zosu CWA developers working on the project. It has been heartening and validating to see our game mentioned in the press and by players that would have loved to see the results of our work. Undoubtedly, a future has been stolen from many of us, and our community will never experience an amazing game. However, despite discussions regarding the status of our employment, the fact is we have not yet been laid off. While we understand that for most of us, something like a layoff is inevitable, last December, both the teams behind the Elder Scrolls Online and the Unannounced project voted overwhelmingly to form a union and establish ZeniMax Online Studios United CWA, aka Zosu CWA. Worker volunteers elected to represent in the interests of our union are currently bargaining with Microsoft for the benefit of our impacted teammates. While Microsoft and Zosu bargain over how we move forward following the project closure, the developers behind the Unannounced project remain employees of ZeniMax with full pay and benefits. On July 2nd, our lives were upended without prior notice or communication from Microsoft leadership and without clear understanding about the status of our employment. In light of this, our union came together with urgency, gathering and distributing information and resources to our affected members. Where Microsoft has failed to support the talented craftspeople who have generated billions in revenue, our union has stepped up to provide clarity and support. It is true that a layoff may be in the future for some of our members. However, as a result of our organizing, we are able to ensure that those impacted will be able to depart with dignity. More importantly, the work of Zosu will continue so that our remaining teammates, the stalwart developers of ESO, can follow in the footsteps of our colleagues across other departments and studios at Microsoft, including our union siblings at ZeniMax Workers United. We look forward to other units who will soon ratify fair contracts that will guarantee the rights we all deserve. Kind of like a last statement about their canceled project there from the union.
Yeah, chilling, heartbreaking situation there, just statement there, right? Our future has been taken from us, and that's something you and I discussed afterwards, right? Of when they had all those layoffs and canceling those projects. When you think about Rare and, of course, ZeniMax Online Studios, it is Elder Scrolls Online, it is Sea of Thieves, it is these live service titles. And, of course, when you start to get long in the tooth in those games and the money starts to run up, then the question is, well, what's next? Or is it time to just shut it all down? And to have the next project taken from you, you have to question your future, right? And there's no layoffs yet, but as the statement says, they're preparing for that, and that sucks, bless.
And that's like, I think part of the importance of having unions, right? To like be able to advocate for you, be able to fight for you as an employee, and then also be able to help you prepare for what could be inevitable, right? As far as what you're talking about. Hey, our big next project got canceled. What does that mean for the people that were working on it? What does that mean for the people that are working here? I think the security provided from a union to be able to go, hey, let's prep you. Hey, let's work with Microsoft and bargain for like bargain for the, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Bargain for the help you might need when you end up losing your job, right? Like, I think that stuff is important. Did you hear about what they're working on? Because I remember watching a video a little while ago saying that the kind of like next MMO they were working on was like looking promising behind the scenes.
No, I was unaware of what they were working on there, so I don't know what it was genre wise. I think it was another MMO, but I don't know what kind of like vibe it was at all.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean the fact that they're saying here that like, yo, this is something that we believed in, and this is something that like, you know, was taken from us, I think is again very sad, but hopefully, I don't know. Like I would want to see maybe a no clip or somebody break down, maybe a Jason Schreier breakdown. This is exactly what this was going to be, and this is why they believed in it so much. You know?
Yeah, we'll probably get that. Become another scale bound situation again.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Story number 5. Speaking of Xbox, Microsoft employee has been criticized for advertising Xbox graphics role using AI-Slop artwork just weeks after mass layoffs. This is Tom Phillips at IGN. A Microsoft employee has drawn criticism for sharing a widely ridiculed AI image to advertise empty roles on Xbox's graphics team. The image, which features a woman sat at a computer typing code, shown on the rear of the monitor rather than its screen, is clearly made by AI. Accompanying text states, Xbox Graphics is hiring. Reaction to the post, which went live on LinkedIn over the weekend and is still available at the time of writing, is a mixture of bafflement and outright anger, with many responses criticizing the embarrassment quality of the image and the timing of the post just weeks after mass layoffs at Xbox as Microsoft doubles down on AI. Yeah, I saw this making the rounds on social media the other day. A lot of people dunking on this.
We got to tighten up. We got to tighten up as humanity, as a society. We got to we got to tighten the fuck up, people, because we're losing grip right now.
Yeah.
And there's just too many dummies out there that are in control doing some dumb stuff. We got to tighten
Too many
up.
CEOs drinking that
Just
AI Kool-Aid, you know?
Tighten the fuck up.
Yeah.
What are
Yeah.
we? I mean, it's just stepping on rake after rake, like we talked about with especially Xbox and Microsoft. You get so many wins, you start to finally get into the good graces, and we just absolutely throw all that down the drain. And then we have this, right? The audacity after all these layoffs to be promoting jobs, and then we have this. Nobody's looking at this, going, what's up with that? Nobody questions that? Or do we all just go, you know what? Great job.
Can I tell you, this was the moment where I realized I give people too much of the benefit of the doubt. Because I saw this, and in my brain, I was like, oh, it's like a clear monitor. That's why you're seeing the text on the that's why you're seeing the text on the back of the screen. It's because it's a see-through.
It's a cool futuristic.
No, certainly nobody's dumb enough to like look at this and be like, oh, I'll publish it. Certainly there's some kind of thought process that goes behind like, oh yeah, you know.
We gotta tighten it up.
I was like,
we gotta tighten it up,
maybe
y'all.
I'm not ahead enough of the technology that we have.
Just remember, in the next 10 years, this AI shit is just gonna continue to run rampant unless we put our foot down and try to stop this shit. Because we're gonna get lost in the sauce. We're getting lost in the sauce, y'all.
This is what I'll say. Or Barry, you popped up. What's up?
No, you go ahead.
Well, this is what I'll say, because I think Barry mentioned earlier, right? Like, you know, CEOs keep drinking the AI Kool-Aid. I just want to make it clear. Microsoft is the AI Kool-Aid. Like, they're not drinking it. They are the AI Kool-Aid. This is something that, like, we're going to see more and more. And, like, I don't want to be... I guess I will be a downer here, right? Like,
no, be a fucking downer.
Because, like, I'm of the mind, and hopefully maybe I'm proven wrong, right? But like we've already lost the AI race.
No,
there's no putting it back in the bottle.
There's no putting the genie back in the bottle.
Yeah,
there's videos all over Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, where you're going, what in the hell? Why does it look so real? And then it's quickly becoming AI, and you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, we're already here.
It's gonna happen.
Sorry, Barry, you said
I think I don't think we've lost. Yes, Facebook videos and stuff like that, that's going to be a shit show for a while, especially under this current administration that has no interest in regulating any of this shit. I don't think we've completely lost the fight in terms of AI being forcibly integrated into kind of everyday workday office life type of shit. I think there is still a very clear kind of like hatred towards AI that I think it's going to take a little bit for higher ups and C-suite execs to like fully see and to kind of wind back on, especially when they eventually see, and this is unfortunately going to be the thing that takes this step to happen is when they see the amount of money that they have to spend and infrastructure that they have to build to make AI such a large part of their company, and the very little revenue that they're going to get back from that push. We'll see how long it takes with Microsoft. But yeah, literally every facet of their company is just, they're trying to push this shit out.
Yeah, I the only part I disagree with there is the low revenue that they're going to see. Right now, AI is how you get high revenue in the tech business, right? Like, you make the turn to AI so that you can get that shareholder money, so that you can make that graph continue to go up for you. Now, I'm not saying that that's not going to crash and burn at some point, because I think it will, right? I think we're going to hit a point where, like, the quality of the stuff we're getting that's spat out by AI is going to be so bad. And I think we're going to see enough people be like, no, this shit fucking sucks, right? But I think right now we're still descending into the shit fucking sucks, right? Like, I think the battle that we're going to face is more so about regulation and more so about, like, how much ground can we as consumers be like, yo, stop here, right? I don't want to listen to my music artists, make AI albums. I don't want to play games that are developed by like that have like AI generated dialogue or AI generated story. I don't want to I think people don't necessarily want to interact day to day with, I guess, generative AI stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And I think there is going to be a line drawn as far as that. But I think AI has become such a big factor in so many tech things, right? Like when we talk about DLSS, for example, right? Or like a lot, like in the tech world, AI is everything. AI is like pushing everything forward.
Yeah.
And I think that battle is already lost. And we're seeing the drips of it.
And
in our
that's been
shit.
a thing for a while. I'm talking more so in the generative AI and like the assist tools that are just kind of worse versions than prior assist tools and stuff like that in terms of like Google Docs and like shit like that, right?
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, in terms of like development side things, like, yeah, I think that battle is like definitely like that's been cemented. But in terms of like creative process, that AI, as we understand it now, as we've understood it in the last couple of years, is like, I don't think it's going to be as long for this world, I think, as people are expecting.
Yeah, and I hope for that. The one thing I will say, I was watching a TikTok on Saturday. It was a girl. It was two people in the front of a car. Are you the one with the cow?
One with the cow.
The one with the cow.
Her face,
yes.
and she melted.
And
it looked so fucking real.
I thought it was real, and it fucking terrified me. It's basically two people sitting in a car, and like a girl has her window down, and like a cow comes in the window, and I'm like, oh, the cow's gonna like eat her food or whatever. And then the cow, it looks like the cow essentially like vomits on her face, and then she disintegrates.
It's crazy.
And it wasn't until like she was gone.
Too real.
It looked way too real, and I was like, oh, we're fucked. And maybe this is me becoming a boomer in real time, right? Of like, I'm aging up. But I'm like, oh man, we're already here.
Yeah.
In 5 years from now, like,
they're gonna be making videos of you.
In 5 years from now, you're gonna be listening to me on a podcast, and it's not gonna be me, and you won't know. Terrifying. Story number 6. EA is reportedly hitting the brakes on the Need for Speed franchise. This is Jackson Chen at Engadget. It's crazy to shift to this story. It's crazy to shift because like here I'm like, okay, this is something that this is something that brings me back to earth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I hate this news story, but at the same time, I'm like, I can talk about this.
Reality.
This is reality now.
It's
Like,
real.
I'm back to the world that I'm from. The Need for Speed franchise could be making its last laps, at least for the time being. Matthew Everingham, a photographer who frequently contributed to car culture websites Speed Hunters, said in social media posts that EA has shelved Need for Speed and is quietly parking the series. Speed Hunters, which was funded by EA and was last updated in April of this year, will also reportedly cease operations for now. EA hasn't released an official statement on the fate of the Need for Speed franchise, but several internal decisions point to an uncertain future. Earlier this month, the publisher announced that it would shut down online servers for the cult classic Need for Speed Rivals on October 7th. Before that, the developer behind Need for Speed, Criterion Games, shifted most of its employees to focus on the Battlefield franchise, leaving only a core group to continue working on the racing series in 2023. However, Battlefield head Vince Zampella told Eurogamer earlier this year that the rest of the Need for Speed team would be, quote, joining their colleagues working on Battlefield, end quote.
Yeah, we knew about this. They're focusing on tentpole revenue generating games here. And unfortunately, that meant a lot of studios that were making maybe the smaller title games or just games that you enjoyed, like Need for Speed, we're going to come over and help them with their other games that they deemed more fitting. It's crazy, Bless, to think about Need for Speed maybe, parking in the garage and calling it quits for a little bit. But also at the same time, Bless, I haven't been a Need for Speed kid when I look at this since probably like 2008 with Undercover. I mean, I was there for the Undergrounds, the, Hot Pursuits. But when I look at all these titles from really 2009 onward, right, I probably gave Unbound a chance. Didn't really vibe with it. Didn't love it. Need for Speed Heat. There's just a lot of titles here between 2022 and 8 here.
This is what I'll say.
Yeah.
Is that EA just stopped trying with Need for Speed. Like, Need for Speed Unbound was kind of cool. Because that was the last one, right? That was the most recent.
That was
Need
the
for
last
Speed.
one, yeah.
If you remember, that game came out. It had like these cool, like little anime flourishes that they would have, and like the graphics package and stuff. And like, it had almost like an underground feel of, you're driving around the world and you're getting into races and you're building up your cred and all this shit, right? That game was fun. Obviously, it wasn't like fantastic or anything, but it was cool. They didn't announce that game until like a month before it released, and it released in December. Do you remember this? This is like, we were like, it kept being rumored throughout the year of like, EA's working on a Need for Speed. And then we got late into the year and it's like, well, there's no way. And then, they announced it and released it. And it felt like they just shat it out. And the game didn't deserve to be released that way. It was a game that you could have marketed better. It was a game that you could have put more behind. Need for Speed Heat, the one, I believe, before Unbound, also had a cult audience to it that swears by that game, that will tell you that game's actually pretty good. I just think I think EA just did not know how to treat the Need for Speed franchise.
Maybe they didn't. Maybe they did. I think the issue is we're living in a Forza Horizon world where that dominates the spot.
Sure.
And then on top of that, like the racing car culture world in video games is already super small. And on top of that, you already have juggernauts that are kind of running it right now, especially with the boom of F1 globally. That has become a hot title that people want to play. The Gran Turismos are still going to sell. We just saw Microsoft really cut half of Forza Motorsport over there with that team, and now it's clearly just going to be Forza
Are cars
Horizon.
not doing it anymore?
I
What's up
think
with cars?
I think cars.
I thought cars were the safe bet.
I don't know if they're doing it
Ka-chow.
anymore.
Ka-chow. I didn't hear what Barrett said
Ka-chow.
at first. I thought cars was the safe bet. I've actually never seen the
And then
car-
you think
Cars
of
movies.
Ubisoft with The Crew, right? It's like here's a bunch of games coming at you that like I just don't know if there's a mass audience. And
Yeah, but
so,
like even The Crew, it's like I feel like Forza works because they put money behind Forza. They like Forza is developed as a thing that like Xbox cares about and they want to see do well, and like that shows in the quality of the final product. I don't think that shows in the quality of The Crew when we get there.
I wanted to be like, oh, EA just might not have the money, but EA's got a
EA
lot
has
of
the
money.
money.
That's the problem. It's like they can sink dollar after dollar into this, and it can continue to come out and either be middling, it can fail, it could be a big hit. They have plenty of money to do this, but like they've clearly identified we are going to go after only money makers from this point forward, and probably a big gamble right now. If we really roll it all back, Bless, there's a huge gamble on Battlefield right now. They've taken like 7 studios to go out and support Battlefield to make sure that the next Battlefield is that and more. And like after the last Battlefield and what happened with that game, it's like, oh man, you're putting a lot of chips on the table for this one. I hope it succeeds, because if it misses, we're into another 5 to 7 year revamp of something else, and all those other side projects are going to be gone.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that I'm trepidatious about is like Battlefield. Yeah, you look at Need for Speed and you look at Battlefield, and for me, I see 2 similar franchises of varying scales. Because like, Mike, when was the last like big Battlefield win?
Well, I mean, you have the juggernaut that was Battlefield 4, then you go into Hardline, then you go into 1 and 5.
Yeah.
And so, like, it has to be that 1 right there. Then they mess up. They win double World War. You don't do that. You always go World War, then you go back to,
Modern.
present day. Yeah, modern.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Futuristic.
Yeah, so, like, they win double on that. You don't go double.
Battlefield 1 was the last one I remember
Yeah.
people being hot for.
Yeah, 1 I think was the one, right? Like, well, before that you would have said Battlefield 4, which came out like around
4,
launch of
3,
PS4
yeah,
and Xbox One, right? Like, but I feel like but out of 5 Battlefields that have come out in the last decade and a couple years, right? Like, we're talking about 2 of them coming out and being pretty good.
And the last one being pretty good was literally 9 years ago, I think, coming out a month after I started working in this industry.
Well, the catch is like
insane.
In that time, since then, let's just go back to Battlefield 1. Since 2016, you've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Need for Speeds.
Hell yeah.
That's a lot of Need for Speeds to come out and be forgotten about.
But I think it's the thing where I see 2 franchises that EA just doesn't know what they want to do with. And obviously with this new Battlefield, EA is trying to lock in, and they're like, all right, everybody's on Battlefield now. We're all just doing Battlefield. But I don't have the faith that like the world wants Battlefield that bad right now.
Yeah,
I
but
think
they're
Call
looking
of
at
Duty,
the Fortnite market and Call of Duty, and they're going, okay, well, we need to be in the shooter genre. We need the shooter because the shooter market is way bigger than the racing market.
But you have Apex. You had Titanfall. You had like, I think this is what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
Or this is what I feel. I think the all-in bet is the thing that I'm scared of. I think I would have liked to see maybe like you split the difference of, all right, let's put out an Apex, let's put out a Titanfall, let's put out a Battlefield, but like market them separately and try to grow them as opposed to going all in on Battlefield, a franchise that I think is lost right now. A franchise that I think is that I think found its way when it was competing directly with Call of Duty, and it felt like a real competitor to Call of Duty, but like that was 2010.
See, I'm there with you, and I would have gone the Titanfall route, or I would have even called up our friends over at Disney and Lucas and said, hey, let me try to get back on the Battlefront. Now that's a whole different beast, but like I would have, in my mind, if this wasn't going down, it would have been Battlefront. And if this falls and fails, it will be, hey, how do we get on Battlefront?
Yeah.
Because I don't think Titanfall's got the juice and it's good, but like I would go for the Star Wars market of like, let's bring a new Star Wars shooter into this.
I agree
and
with
let's
that.
see if we can get a better foothold here.
But they also don't want to do a lot of or too much like licensed IP outside of that. And stuff. And if you really want it to succeed, Mike, what do you have to do? Bring back Bad Company.
Bad Company.
Oh, I was gonna say make it free to play.
Make
it free to play.
You know what, Bless? It might be free to play. You don't know yet. We never know.
Do you think it's gonna be free to play?
No, I don't think so.
Then
I
what
think
are we
they're going to give you a
doing
full
here?
package.
This shit's gonna fail, bro. This
Bless,
shit's gonna fail.
It's coming into a real
You're gonna put out a full price
Here's
Battlefield
the deal.
game?
Nobody does like Battlefield in the current market right now. Nobody's doing a 64 versus 64 online player match with full destructible environments, having this stuff. Now, I say all that, and we literally just did this in Battlefield 2042, and it failed. But that's because it came out and it wasn't right? There were server issues. There was problems with the game. Now, on the flip side, when I look at the market, I go, okay, well, Fortnite's got Battle Royales covered. Call of Duty's got the normal team arenas covered. We got Overwatch. We got Marvel Rivals. Those got those hero-based games covered. So there's not much of a market here. Okay, I got to bring in something no one's doing, and that is 64 versus 64 big, large-scale battles. Now, I still say that Battlefront with Star Wars would have been better for this, but generic military dude is going to have to fit the build. So that means they have to have a killer campaign. They got to dominate in multiplayer. They got to have some other game mode that is an extraction / battle royale hybrid. But this is all what we already did in Battlefield 2042 minus the campaign. So now we're just betting on the campaign to carry this when we just proved that it doesn't work, Mike.
What are we doing? Just bring back Burnout. That's all I want. That's all I want. I know it's not maybe a money-making move or all this shit, right? Just bring it back for me. Just for one guy. Just give me Burnout.
Just play Paradise again.
I mean, I could, but I played Paradise so many times.
Fair. It's a great game.
I played so much Paradise. I played so much Burnout 3. I guess I could play more Revenge, but I prefer Burnout 3. I digress. Mike, if we brought back Burnout, that'd be big old news.
That'd be big news, Bless.
But if I wanted something smaller, say the tiniest news I needed to know, where would I go?
You'd go to our last news story, the We News channel, where we cover all the small news items you need to know about.
I'm just saying, like, a Burnout, I feel like would make more than, like, another Need for Speed. You know, especially if you're not going to market a Need for Speed.
I like that, Bless. See, now you're thinking.
Yeah.
Now you got to get in there.
Now
you
you're
got to come.
thinking.
You got to come with the Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
Of like, oh wow, this isn't Need for Speed anymore. This is something different, right? Like that's where you need to get lost in right there. Because Need for Speed, unfortunately, isn't doing it.
Yeah.
Forza Horizon's already doing that.
Oh my god, somebody in chat says it. Burnout 3 remaster. This wouldn't work because different companies, right? But if you can find a Vicarious Visions like studio, if you can find an Iron Galaxy like studio, the way that they're doing these Tony Hawk remakes, give me just that, but Burnout 3. Burnout 3 plus Revenge. Story number 7 is Wii news from Video Games Chronicle. Speaking of Tony Hawk, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4 locks a SpongeBob SquarePants Easter egg behind the $70 deluxe edition of the game. The THPS series has a long history of pop culture Easter eggs, and the newest pair of remakes is no exception. However, players have now found out that several Easter eggs are locked behind the deluxe version of the game. On the Skater Island level, there's a hidden area that pays tribute to the Nickelodeon cartoon SpongeBob. However, the Nickelodeon branding in these areas is locked behind the deluxe edition of the game. Mike, you want to know what happens if you go there without the deluxe edition?
It's an empty pirate ship?
It's an empty fucking pirate ship. Fuck off.
So,
wasn't that what it was in the original version?
Probably.
Yeah.
But like you're hiding an Easter egg behind a fucking $70 version of
That's
the thing?
insane. Like I get characters, like I think this article mentions like the Doom guy and stuff like that. If you want stuff that's like actually like, I don't know, quote unquote valuable in terms of like how you can play or what your character is and stuff, but like you're talking about like a 10-second Easter egg.
I will say intrusive Wombat in chat says incorrect. I paid for the standard edition and still got into that area.
Did it have no? But the catch is it just an empty pirate ship?
Oh yeah.
Or does it have the hidden
Is it
Easter eggs?
SpongeBob?
You have to remember that. That's the difference. Is you can get into the area, but they're saying it's an empty pirate ship. If you paid, that pirate ship would then have the SpongeBob Easter eggs. is what
Yeah.
it says. Here's one I want to bring up really quick. DQ Roman over on TikTok, love this guy. Watch a lot of his content. Brought up a great one of like a lot of companies are losing the vision of what is it like. Hidden earnable and like me paying for stuff because
Yes.
a lot of
Oh,
these
yeah.
cool secret unlockables have been a lost art where like that back in the day where you'd unlock Doom Guy as he brings up was a fun one. It was a wow factor. Now I have to pay for that. I have to pay for songs. That's ridiculous. So like
We're paying pay for
there's
songs?
additional songs in there if you pay.
It's just like the Doom soundtrack.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so
I'll
it's
let
like,
that slide. Yeah.
that shit is like we're losing our way when it comes to microtransactions and just fun like cute unlockables in the game.
Yeah.
And so we gotta, especially with Tony Hawk, we gotta find a better way with that. Give me a kiss.
Someone
Shout out
else
to
in
DQ
chat says,
Roman.
can also confirm I'm on Game Pass and have the Easter egg. Because I assume Game Pass only gives you the like basic version.
In the article, they also mentioned, the Game Pass or standard, which is interesting. I wonder what's going on with that then.
I gave him like $14 so I could play the game early.
Jesus Christ, Mike.
Did you actually play it early?
We get codes.
I forgot the request.
Jesus fuck.
Did you actually play it early?
Yeah, I played it early. I played all of 4. I'm bad at that game. There's a lost art to Tony Hawk that I lost a long time ago. I feel like if you don't keep up with your Tony Hawk skills or really devote yourself to it, you'll never really hit in the combos and the wombos like
Yeah,
you
but
should.
I love getting back
That's why I
into it.
became a skate guy, is because skate, to me, felt more like I could pick up and play. I could hit that sick nose blunt down a 14-stair rail and call it good enough. Tony Hawk, it's like, oh, Mike, you suck. And they taught me I suck.
I want to say 2 things. Firstly, I keep having this issue where my save data doesn't make it to the different device. Like I played on my Steam Deck throughout the review. I couldn't the save for some reason wouldn't make it to my PC, and then I lost
Your cloud file.
my cloud file, and then like something happened when they finally I assume they finally synced it, but it erased my data.
You have to remember that a lot of the times on the early stuff, when like you're pressed and you're doing it before, sometimes the cloud data isn't enabled
But
yet.
usually you can tell that it's not enabled because it won't show you
saw
the
it.
thing.
Oh.
Here, it said my cloud data had synced. And so I don't know what that was. But anyway, my data got erased on my Steam. So I played it again. And then also I streamed it here where I played it. For some reason, that data didn't make it to my home PS5. And so I've done the campaign for Tony Hawk 3 like 4 times in the last week. But no, don't say oh no, because I love it every time. It's been a blast every single fucking time. I fucking love Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. I forgot how much I love this game.
I was trying to save the painter over at the docks, and you got to grind this ball, unlock the rope on the ball, but then you got to line yourself off and kind of bounce off the ball to go roll into the shark. Couldn't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody's like, you got to like no bone it. And I'm like, I can't no bone this
You got a
thing.
No bone
boneless? You mean you got a boneless it? Is that what you're trying to say?
No bone. We call it no
I'm
bone.
trying to
Les.
no bone this ball right
Frab
now.
Gaming says, I didn't see the Easter egg when I went into the ocean. I'm on PS5 Basic Edition.
We gotta get to the bottom of this because there's a weird mystery going on with this shit.
Yeah.
The second thing I wanted to say about Tony Hawk is that I've been getting a lot of Tony Hawk TikToks, and I'll look at the comments, and a really fascinating thing is happening. There are so many people that are mad at Tony Hawk. Not the person, the
Mad
game.
at the Hawkman.
No, not mad at the Hawk.
Okay,
mad at
you
the
can't
game
be mad at the Hawkman.
because it's not Skate. I've seen so many comments that are like, the 2-minute run is ruining it.
Okay, well,
Or
we do
like,
have to cut the time.
But I've also seen people like, oh, the grinds are too magnetic and all that. And they're like complaining about things that are inherently Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. And I assume it's kids that grew up with Skate that are now seeing Tony Hawk and being like, yo, what the fuck is this
The
shit?
2-minute thing is a big contention, though, because 4 wasn't designed around 2-minute runs. 4 was you go around these like kind of bigger areas, go up to people, get missions and stuff like that.
But I don't think that's what they're talking about. I'm pretty sure they're just talking about like the things they just don't like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, because they're complaining about like a list of things that are all like, oh man, like, you know, you're just doing these annoying it was I was watching like a hardcore Tony Hawk player like get a million, all this shit, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, this shit looks whack or whatever. And I'm like, brother, this is the classic. This is where skating games.
This is arcade skateboarding.
And they
back
just
Skate,
didn't,
baby.
they weren't vibing with it. They wanted Skate.
They want Skate. The people yearn for Skate, bless.
It
we
was
yearn
so
for
interesting.
it.
Let's just boot up Skate 3, Mike.
We call. Come on, Barrett.
All right, I'm real late in this show, so let's move on with Wii news. Sorry, I'm the one ranting too, so this is
That's
my fault.
fine. Hey, we're ranting.
Peak has sold 5 million copies in under a month.
Congratulations to that team.
Oh my, that's like-
Isn't that insane?
That's crazy. It's like
That-
PlayStation first party numbers.
That is insane. Congratulations. Fun game as can be. So much fun with your friends. From aggro crab to this.
Yeah.
Unreal.
From what was it? Going under and
No.
Oh, you're talking about another
No,
Crab's
not
treasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Another Crab's Treasure is crazy.
Moving on, this week marks the official launch of the Gaming Foundation. That is gaming spelled GAYMING, a newly established nonprofit organization dedicated to uplifting and empowering the LGBTQ plus games industry workers, aspiring professionals, and players to affect change, celebrate inclusivity, and drive forward representation in games. People can donate to the Gaming Foundation by visiting gamingfoundation.org/donate. That is gaming spelt with a Y. And then lastly, Rexplode joins the Invincible versus roster.
Do you think I'll enjoy this Invincible roster? I'm not a big Invincible guy. They have some standout characters because you came back from your preview and it's like they're kind of samey.
You enjoy the roster? I mean, no. Like I think you should watch the Invincible show so you can appreciate the roster.
Okay.
I think if you just hop into the game without watching the show,
Yeah.
you're just gonna see a bunch of people that are fucking super strength beings. But watch the show and then you'll be like, oh, I love Adam Eve. I love maybe not Rexplode, but I like Invincible.
I fell off that show really hard.
Really?
Still hold a grudge because of the poor season 2 launch.
Oh yeah, that's
Hated
fair.
that.
That's fair.
Really lost me.
That's fair.
And I never came back.
That is it for Wii News. Let's hop into kindoffunny.com/you're wrong. Somebody says Superman, you're wrong. This is not the show for it. That's not you're wrong. People are telling me there's already been an Animal Crossing movie from the mid-2000s. It was Japan only.
Well, how was Blessing going to watch that as a child?
I'll tell you right now, I was not going to watch it anyway as a kid. I'm not watching Animal. Ooh, this looks cool. Hold on. I take that
Okay,
back.
now he's in.
Oh, I take that
He's
back.
in, he's in.
His art style looks cute.
Oh, shit. He
2006.
All right,
It
there you
does
go.
look kind of lit.
Yeah. And that is it for kindoffunny.com/you're wrong. Let's take a peek real quick at the super chats, see what people are saying. Bless, would you play a Clips video game? If you're saying it's like, it would have to be like 50 Cent Blood on the Sand, I imagine. But like you are selling cocaine on the streets and there's a whole narrative to it. Would I play it? If the entire soundtrack was Clips music, yes. I'd play it.
That's really cool. What rapper do you want a 50 Cent video game made after?
Ooh. See, this is interesting because it's not just about like what rapper do I like. It's about what rappers lived the coolest life.
And you don't get to say Def Jam, right? Like, we're
Which-
not doing wrestling.
Which rapper
Yeah.
would have the most fun video game if I played through I feel like Jay-Z might, right?
Was Jay-Z getting shot at 9 times like 50 Cent and then got up?
I mean, I don't think he got shot 9 times. That's the thing is, honestly, 50 Cent is kind of the final boss of rappers when you think about it. Chief Keef maybe, or like Bobby Shmurda might have like a good video game associated with him. Anybody from Chicago really, but like not Chance, not like the conscious folks.
Yeah.
Chance can have like a Telltale choose your own adventure game. But like if I'm looking for like an action game, like drill rappers from Chicago or like maybe some drill rappers from the UK.
People are saying DMX.
That'd be fun. A DMX game would be fun. Yeah. Easy E.
Okay.
I'm just thinking San Andreas.
I like that.
Snoop Dogg. Let's see. Do we have any more super chats? Costa, the creator, says Heat was the most recent great game. Core Need for Speed vibe with great street racing on current gen. Kebab says, how long until Xbox's one last thing is an AI generated Halo sequel? Kebab's just in there making jokes now. That is it. Oh, we'll do one last one actually from Dose of Nostalgia from that says, I like Battlefield as an alternative to COD at the time. Do you think that it's still a viable alternative in 2025?
Yes, back in the day, it was an alternative, and I really enjoyed that. I'm probably similar to you when I was calling it Call of Rage and Call of Booty, and I switched over to Battlefield and had a blast. I do think that Battlefield's bread and butter is not the 4v4 or 6v6 smaller maps. I think the bread and butter of Battlefield is that big wow factor, which is those larger scale 32 on 32, 68 on 68, whatever the number is. I think Call of Duty has kind of cornered the market of this is that smaller team arena that is 4v4, 5v5. Battlefield is not that alternative for me. But I think if you're just looking for a multiplayer generic military shooter, it will be the alternative if it's good.
Yeah. Mike, that is it for Kinda Funny Games Daily, where each and every weekday we run you through the nerdy news you need to know about live on YouTube, Twitch, and on podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, support us with the Kinda Funny membership on Patreon or YouTube to get all of our shows ad-free, watch us record them live, and get a daily exclusive show. Enjoy the Gamescast next and the stream after, but until next time, game daily.